we got one. Bryson Carver.
Bryson Carver.
Great job, Bryson.
Good job, Bryson.
Yeah, go Bryson. Congratulations.
He was trying to park his car.
So I on the test. This is great. Hold it like this and turn around. Where's Mama? There she is. Stop, Mama.
Bryson.
All right. I see you. You're awesome. No,
No, he was saying the whole.
come on. Come here, baby. There you go. Turn around. Come on, baby. I see you. And tell you don't teach pre-K. Yes, there we go. Can you see Bryson? Here, scoot this way. No, right there. Okay, there you go. All right, now.
One, two, three.
Good job. Good job, guys. Thank you.
Okay, now for Forest Park Greenville, we want to recognize staff members for showing their strength. This person as a building testing coordinator, instructional facilitator, and assistant principal organized and successfully tested over 250 kindergartners for Atlas screening. This person is none other than Sarita Sanders. So this next staff member for successfully registering over 400 pre-K and kindergarten scholars for the 25-26 school year, our very own April Williams.
Oh, it's good.
Okay, next staff member for successfully registering over 400 pre-K and kindergarten scholars for the 25-26 school year, Tasha Jackson. She's all of them, she's so great. Okay, the next staff member for having top proficiency scores for first grade at the summative assessment for the 24-25 school year, Ms. Pauline Priest.
Okay, Ms. Chris was one of our first grade teachers last year who is now teaching our kindergarten, one of our kindergarten classes, because we had to do benevolence in kindergarten, so thank you so much.
Last but not least, we have one more staff member for having the top proficiency scores for kindergarten at this summative 24-25 school year, Marcia Wilkins.
You want to take a staff recognition?
Everybody.
There we
We have New Saint Hurricane, MDC, in case you don't know, that's Missionary Baptist Church, for providing cleaning supplies, children's books, toy donations, and food pantry. Food pantry. Our next community member for a scholar and staff donations and for teaching financial literacy to our Forest Park Greenville community, none other than Latasha McNeely Randall.
Thank you, board. Thank you, board, for coming.
All right, thank you so much, Superintendent Barber, for those recognitions. At this time, if any members of the audience need to go ahead and leave and get our young people home ready for school tomorrow, feel free to do so at this time. I also want to give a shout out to a few of my colleagues from WPB. I want to say hello, Dr. Meadows, and good to see you. Good to see y'all again. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just suck it into life.
Amen. 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 All right. All right, we're going to continue in our agenda. Now we have PPC.
All right, I'm back again. I'll be brief this time. Just wanted to give you guys an update on where we are as far as personnel policy committee is concerned. We have updated all of our current members on the work that we started, the work that has yet to be done, as well as looking at some policies that we are going to be tweaking, perhaps, and making sure we make some adjustments here and there. So we have done that. We also are going to be, and I've mentioned to Mr. Carlock, that we want to work to define a few more of our stipends a little clearer for the sake of transparency and things of that nature, to make sure that we can be clear as regard to what stipends are and how they are applied or who qualifies for such and such, right? So we'll be working on definitions for those as well. And then this year we are also going to be sending out a poll just to kind of gauge the sentiments of our staff and stakeholders on their feelings toward the year-round calendar that we've been on. So that'll give us language on how we need to move forward in the future if the year-round is something that we want to continue doing and or not. And so that's where we are with that. And I do know that our last time we were waiting on you guys to set the date for us to come together on the multi-year contract piece. We've been in contact or have information from some other school districts that are doing it Most of them have not expanded the multi-year to the classroom educators yet, just more so of your administration and central office staff and the like. So, but we're ready to have those conversations when you guys are. As I said, our current policy committee is abreast of everything that we have done and are planning to do in the future. So that's all I have.
Thank you very much. And it is still on our radar. I know we had planned to try to do that in November, but I think we can get past, Thanksgiving. We really need to have a conversation in December before the December break. When is school out? What's your last day?
For Christmas,
Yes.
December 19th.
Okay. And so we got that on there. Superintendent Barbie has it on our radar. When's your next meeting for PPC?
It'll be in December. Don't give me the line to you the date out the top of my head. First Monday in December, we're out because that's the first. So the 8th should be the 8th.
Okay, is that meeting in the evenings? Was that what time?
4:15. 4:15. But if enough advance notice, we can be flexible if need be. So just let me know, and we can pass that word along.
Thank you. Any questions from board members? Sorry. Any other questions from board members for PPC? Okay. All right, and then now we're gonna move on to board committee reports. Director Edwards is not here for the board committee report, and we always save our facilities report last from Dr. Colin. Director Whitmore, do you have a report from your committee? Okay.
I will say that the wellness committee met on October 22nd. I wasn't present because I was at a doctor's appointment, but from what I heard, everything went well. Positions were chosen. The next meeting will be December the 10th, I believe, and it will be partnered with the brunch for the members, and the location will be posted at a later date. So I will have something after the December 10th.
All right, I'll just talk about executive committee. We know we have the SBA conference coming up in December. The board members can get good training and also get their hours. Also want to highlight that our board got some awards. And I'll just read, awards were recently acknowledged at the 2025 SBA Fall Regional Meetings. These awards are for board members who have earned at least 25 hours of in-service credit from the SBA accepted training. A certificate of boardsmanship award, lapel pins, is included for your board members who did not attend the regional meeting. And that's Director Benita Corbin, Director Jamaica Edwards, Director Patrick Lockett. And we also received the Outstanding Board Award, which my understanding is earned when all members have achieved the individual certificate of bondsmanship award. So again, and I didn't get a chance to mention that tonight, and forgive my absence on that, but I continue to appreciate serving with you. I continue to appreciate working with you, and also continue to appreciate working with our superintendent going forward as we try to move the school district forward. So those are my only comments as it relates to executive side. And so at this time, Dr. Colin, we can hear from you in facilities.
Good afternoon, or good evening, I guess. My day is going fast. I wanted to start off with a report from Sean. He has a great deal to talk about. So we're going to talk about the updates on the school district buildings first, and then we're going to talk about the football stadium. So it's all yours, Sean.
Thank you, sir. Board, as always, we appreciate the opportunity to be here, give a quick update on the high school project as a whole, and then as Dr. Coleman said, we'll go into some potential updates for the stadium. I've got a video, as usual, to get us started, but as you can see, we've started infill pretty much the last of all of our roof sections. So this is where we did the topping out ceremony, kind of right between the arena and the auditorium the other day. That roof and deck are now completed out, and we're starting to kind of work on eyebrows. So we are continuing to move on. So this is kind of come around the front. So as we talk about the eyebrows, we'll start to see the frame out of the edge of the roofs. Eventually that'll have metal on all those. Continuing to work down through the center corridor. This is the main kind of front entry. Lots of work going in the arena. That's one of our big focuses. Right now, you can see it start to take shape, where you see the steel beams coming in on all these sides. We'll actually have the big precast bleacher sections will be coming in here over the next couple of weeks, and so the arena will really kind of shape up. You'll start to see this is what I'm talking about when I say the precast risers for the bleachers. This is over in the auditorium. We finished those a couple of weeks ago. And those sections will start to go in for the arena kind of all the way around, which will allow us to pour the concourse. Now that second level, and continue to work on up as we go. Safe room, we've continued to finish out some of the restroom areas that are down here, getting the last of the louvers in. This is into the cafeteria. Right underneath here, eventually, and under that staircase, you'll see a coffee bar that will take shape. Again, kind of some of the rest of the canopy sections coming out that are protecting the entrances. Continued roof work as we go around. So right here, this is the north end of the arena. That's where the hospitality suite will go in. You can start to see the steel coming out right there. That'll be an overhang that you'll be able to view from the football field side or the arena side. Kind of gives you a good view down the side of the building. We do have this open to get those bleachers in. As you can see, the bricks starting to come up. We're starting to get ready to put metal panels on the side. Going through the lobby area over into the auditorium, starting to get some of the wall sections in place there. Building G, which is the CTE wing. We've got paint going on the inside. We're about to start setting some of the exterior doors and get that building closed up and kind of get it ready to get finished on up here right after the first of the year. And we're also working on the north end. This is pouring some of the retaining walls up on that end. We're starting to take shape of that north plaza. We've actually poured that north wall on both sides now, and we're starting to get those ramps formed in. So that'll be, if you think about coming out of the north end of the high school, that's going to kind of transition down to the stadium level. And so you'll actually have stairways, and those retaining walls will empty out right over here to the bottom, and also right over here on the southeast side to the bottom. So if you think about how everyone used to come into the stadium kind of on the north end or on the east side, we're transitioning that back, and so the actual main entries now will come in between the stadium and the high school. There'll be all these sets of ticket booths and gates that everyone will come in through there, and then kind of feed down either to the home or visitor side to the stadium that way. So it's going to kind of redirect traffic flow a little bit as we get into the new season. So this was a good place to kind of transition over. We were asked by the board to get together a package for the stadium improvements, and I wanted to run through today board what we're really looking at as far as the overall stadium improvements and repairs. We've got a little bit of a list. I'll kind of go through. If you have any questions, just please stop me as we go. The actual structural of the stadium itself, so some of the concrete that's holding up these main stadium sections, we've got a little bit of repairs that need to be done on that, and a little bit of tuck pointing, just overall kind of getting some things shored back up. We're going to look at paint. If you think about the back side of the stadium wall here, as well as the white that kind of circulates all around the east side over here, we're going to go in and power wash, get all the vines off, clean everything up, get that painted out. We will also look to paint the handrails that come up around the stadium that you see kind of outlined here. If you remember right, there's quite a bit of old metal handrails down low, and that's on both sides of the stadium. We'll look to get those sandblasted off and repainted. We're also going to dress up the aluminum, the bleachers themselves, the handrails over here, as well as the steel underneath. If you have a northeast concession here, and there's a northwest concession right over here, we're looking at some upgrades for both of those. The east is in better shape than the west, so the west is a little more repair, the east is a little bit of upgrade. And then we've got some general electrical, low voltage signage and things like that need to happen, as well as some repairs to the existing press boxes here on the east and the west. east and west, excuse me. This top of this east press box is in really poor condition, so we are looking to demo the top of that press box off. It's not really safe anymore. That's an old wooden frame structure, and so it's going to get demoed. The structure below it is actually a solid concrete. It was poured in with the stadium originally as part of the initial. So that the bottom half of that press box will get an update. Electrical will be safe. Get a few little upgrades here and there, new lighting, get it back functional. We'll actually look to make that the visitors press box at this point, because it would be a smaller press box. The west side press box, which is still 2-story, would then get an upgrade as well. New painting, new windows, new doors to get it secure, upgrade the electrical in that a little bit, and then you have a 2-story press box to the west side, which would then be used for the home press box. So those are kind of a lot of the repairs that we're going to be doing. Kind of a quick show how this will transition in. So the other thing we'll be looking to do is those transitions down on the east and the west. We're going to rework a little bit right in this area here to make traffic flow more smoothly. We're also going to rework a little bit of the existing fencing. We're going to demo some of these old ticket booths that are no longer going to be used, help with confusion, rework the fence lines, and also get some fences up underneath these aluminum bleachers for safety and security reasons. And that will happen on both sides, both the east and the west. So again, you can see here, we'll rework some of this for a easier entry in, so that as patrons come down, they can transition here up to the aluminum bleachers and potentially through here up to the main bleacher sections. Again, we'll get some of these bleachers closed off under the bleachers, rework some of the fences over here to help with traffic flow overall. And then we would also be painting where you can see the rust on the existing aluminum bleachers, the steel would all get repainted, as well as handrails, both for maintenance and aesthetics. And then overall, as far as the stadium goes, we are also going to do quite a few upgrades to the main field itself. The artificial turf as a whole is going to get replaced. It is past its lifespan, and so there will be a new turf system. We are also going to look at putting in the new LED lights. So the 6 old light stands that are there now will get replaced. There will be new LED lights. So that's kind of the dancing lights that everybody's going to. That would allow them to come up and down very quickly. Along with that, there'll be a new AV or new sound system. The PA will have to get replaced based on where the old system was. We are also looking to put a new scoreboard that would be down here on the south side. And we are looking to put in a new scoreboard up here on the north side. This scoreboard section up here would also have a video board aspect to it. So you would have scoreboards on both ends. But on the north end of the stadium, would actually have a video board that would be above it. They would be at the same platform, but right above the existing scoreboard. And we've got obviously a little bit of some rework here on the retaining wall and some additional electrical upgrades as we have moved some of the power around for the stadium or for the high school and the multi-purpose building. We've got to backfeed some of the existing power, so there'll be some new power rework and things like that would backfeed to feed the new lighting, the updated press boxes, the video and scoreboards, and new game systems. So that kind of gives us an overview of the project itself. Any questions, board?
Questions, board members? Questions, Dr. Coleman?
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
That concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Director Coleman. All right, that ends our board committee reports. Now we're going to move on the agenda to adopting the minutes from our last regular board meeting, dated October 2nd, 2025. Board members received those minutes in their packets. There are no questions, comments, concerns. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the board meeting minutes from October 22nd, 2025. Moved properly second, ready for questions? Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye for me, all opposed say no. The ayes have it. Now we're gonna move on to our financial report. Superintendent Barton.
Good evening, board. In your packet, we have our regular financials that you always have, but I just wanted to highlight just a few things for you. I'm gonna just pull this up. It's okay. So the first report that you have is the local revenue collections and breakdown. And I really do want to share that I'm pleased the treasurer's office will call when they're ready with our tax collection checks. They call and they say, hey, they're ready if you're ready to come get them. And so we can just go pick them up. So that helps us stay very consistent with bringing in that money. So November's collections were here today. However, what you see reflected is of the month of October, up to October. And so in the month of October, we received a little over $2.9 million in tax revenue, which is a real positive for us at this time for November. And so I wanted to transfer that. In the next report, I want to talk to you about something on the, where it says the board report, all funds period 1 through current. Remember, that's our report that shows July until now. And I like this report because it tells you where we're at overall in the district in each of those funds. And so if you see in 2001, that's our main operating fund, we received $10 million, 10.3 in revenue. So that's line 2001. And so of that $10 million, $6 million of it is that local tax revenue. The other revenue that we get in is state foundation funding, and then the other things that we get through that, teacher equalization and stuff. And so you can always compare that. You'll see the local tax dollars coming in on this local tax dollar sheet, but the actual reflection of what that revenue isn't always matched because it all goes into that 2001 account. And then next, and I wanted to bring your attention as well, because this school year we have gone paperless for our ticket sales for athletics. And we had 3 home games in football this year. And up into the month of October, if you look at, on that same report, it's activity account, athletics activity account at 7501. I did want to bring your attention that we have $33,000 in revenue in our athletics account, which is a positive. When we started going back to look at that, remember $5,000 of that was given to us through going to play in Mississippi. The other school paid us to come there. But then we've also collected, just in the month of October, through our cashless revenue, we've collected $25,941 in ticket sales for our athletics. And so I think that's a real positive to highlight when you look at that. The cashless has been a better program for us, and we were able to track that money better that way as well. That was part of our corrective things that we were making sure that we do. The next reports that you have in your packets, let me get back to that, is, well, of course, the board report, all funds, just the current period, and that's where you'll see the $25,000 reflected for the ticket sales as well. In your bank rec, I want to be very transparent. We have no variance again for the month of October. We ran on like a $35 million budget, continuing to keep that through that month, $35 million in and out. That is no variance. And in the check register, all those things that are on the check register are things that you all have approved, but there was one large expenditure that I wanted to remind you of, besides our expenditures to East Harding and the architect for our building fund. If you notice, we do have on page 3, there was $823,000. That's the check for the property insurance, where it says State of Arkansas. And so I do want to share that at our last superintendent's Zoom, which was last Wednesday, all the superintendents were able to speak with and talk to the State of Arkansas, their new insurance company, and the lead of that company to talk about the questions that we have in regard to our premiums and deductibles and just the different things that they're planning to do as far as real assessment and coming out and looking at our schools. And so I want you to know we're staying on top of that as a superintendent group, because we feel like we can, Our premiums stayed the same, but our deductibles went up in insurance, and that was across the state. And so that's something that we're still, as superintendent, trying to really talk to us about. Then under building project reports, the first report that you'll see is the, what's in e-finance is for the current building fund, and I wanted to bring that to your attention. Let me find it, sorry. Yeah, making sure. We always want this report, which is what's in e-finance, to match our actual documents that we keep up with to make sure when we're paying our building fund. So report 1, the building fund report 3001, and then the bond proceeds register and the total project costs should all line up. And so what you'll see is that we have the beginning balance of the building fund for just 3001 was 36 million. Our revenue that we brought in for just this school year since July is $453,000 in interest. We're still making interest off of our bond money. What we've spent just this school year is that 13 million. And that matches exactly with what we have in our bond proceeds register, which is that next document. But as far as the total building fund project cost, again, we started in September of 2023. We've spent $45,800,000 towards our project. You have any questions in regard to our finances? That's it.
All right, any additional questions, comments, concerns from board members regarding the financial report? All right, hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the financial report as presented.
So moved.
Moved by properly second, ready for questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye for me, all opposed say no. The ayes have it. All right, moving on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, board. As always, I want to share our Pine Bluff School District vision that we, with our strategic team and leadership team, make sure that we are thinking about our student-centered community, that Pine Bluff School District will be a safe, supportive, and student-centered community where every child is believed in, challenged, and empowered to overcome barriers, achieve at high levels, and pursue the college and career goals that they've set for themselves. We're going to challenge all to remember our vision the best we can, and I know that there are some schools that students are already starting to be able to speak to this, and so I'm proud of that. When we're making decisions as a district, we're continuing as a board, I'll always encourage that all decisions are focused on our students in all these categories, and I call them the 6 systems, and so that's what my report will be on tonight. And we will start with academics. As you know, there is a requirement that we speak on academics at every board meeting. And tonight, our academic presentation is actually going to come from Pine Bluff High School. They've actually asked to present tonight in regard to their work towards academics and what they're doing for their improvement of the letter grade at Pine Bluff High. And so I'd like to welcome the Pine Bluff High MOVE team to the podium.
Good evening, school board members and guests. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share a movement that is already changing the culture at Pine Bluff High School, entitled Operation Rise. Why, you might ask, Operation Rise? Well, at Pine Bluff High School, we know our students have incredible potential. But potential only becomes progress when we have a system that supports it, measures it, and responds to it. So at Pine Bluff High School, we know our students have incredible potential, but Operation Rise will create something that's incredible. Something that will enhance all aspects of learning. We will raise the expectations. Rise will raise instructions. It will raise accountability. And ultimately, what I'm saying is, raise student achievement. So, it is Pine Bluff High School's commitment to make sure, let me say that again, to make sure every student is seen, is supported, and pushed to grow. So Operation Rise will improve academic performance. It will strengthen our classroom engagement. It will reduce attendance and behavior issues. It will build stronger communication with our families, where we will begin to reach out to our churches and our community leaders to help us and to aid us in making sure that our students are top-notch in this community. So in closing, Operation Rise is more than an initiative. It is a belief that our students deserve. Let me say it again. It's a belief that our students deserve excellence. It is our message to them that, oh yes, students, we see your potential. We see your effort. And we are here to aid you into becoming the best students there are. So, board members and community members, with your support, Pine Bluff High School will not only rise, we will set the standard. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. To Superintendent Father Reed, to Dr. Rice, President, members of the board, faculty, staff, administrators, and constituents of the Pine Bluff School District. We are pleased to launch Operation Rise. It was birthed because I looked at our report card. I was angry. That's a nice way to put it. I was angry. I sulked. Because I didn't like our scores. I knew that we were a better school than what that score says, what that grade says. And so I was walking the hall one Friday afternoon, and I ran into Ms. Fritz. We had the same thing on in our minds, talking about the same. The next day I received the handout that you have from Ms. Evans. We got together that following Monday. We talked about starting Operation Rise. You see, what I realized from looking at the data, that we need to grow the lowest 25% of our students. We gain more when we do that. The points that you earn is greater. So we're going to focus on that. We're going to look at that lower 25% in each area, tested area. English language arts, mathematics, and biology. And we're going to work with those students, make sure that we can move them forward. Also, we're looking to move each student in each academic area by 50%. That's what we want to see, 50% growth on all of our students. If we get 50% growth in all of our students, then the numbers will work for us where we will move from F to C. We just want your support. We want you to understand that it's not because we have bad teachers, because we have not looked at the data and approached the data the right way. We're going to change the level of rigor that we put forward in our classrooms. We're going to make sure that all of our students are taught at a level where they can score either 3 or 4 on the exam. That's the only way we can move our school. We're going to hold everyone accountable, starting with me, down the line. We want to make sure not only will staff, but also students be held accountable. They must do their work, and we're going to hold parents accountable to hold their children accountable. Now, when I was going through, we saw the rate. And that simply means that where we have the 168, 36.16, 4.44, all those added up, gave us a score of 300.11. We know that if we score at least 70 more points, we're moving in the direction we want to go. So we want to move 110 points minimum to get to where we need to get. Try to get a C. Hopefully want a B, but we'll settle for a C right now. But we're going to keep this up till the Lord says something different. Any questions? Oh, and what we realized is right here, we had growth in our English language arts and in our science. We want to focus on mathematics to grow mathematics also. Also, we're looking at our cohorts. We had 84.3 points for graduation this past school year. We're looking right now at our 5th year pathway to see if any of those students who left us graduated elsewhere so that we can improve that number also. And we want to move, because I remember when the graduation rate in Pineville School District was in the 70s. So we are growing. So, and we are improving. And so I want us, my goal, I told the staff on last Thursday, 95. I want 95% of our students to graduate. That's the cohort graduation.
So here are some practical things we're doing within our school building to make this happen. We want to be much more data driven. So everything we do is going back to the data. Setting up a data room so all teachers will have access to student scores and we can see it visually during our PLCs, our CTMs. Every time teachers are together, we're discussing students, it will be data driven. We're looking at restructuring our win time. We just finished our interim assessments today, as a matter of fact. So we're using that data as our baseline to group our students and put them where they need to be, highs, mediums, lows, looking at those vocal students and seeing how we can move them to do the shift from that lowest 25% that Mr. Durant mentioned, so that we can get maximize our letter grade. Not only that, but we want all of our students to grow, even those that aren't taking the Atlas. So we don't want the focus to just be on those tested students, but shifting our school culture as a whole. And that means making sure that everyone in our building is playing a part, from our cafeteria workers to paras up to our teachers and administrators. We want everyone on board. We're also looking at making sure our students are owning their own data. So we came up with a system where all of our students will come to our cafeteria with their English or math teachers, and they will actually have to sit down with the administrators and get their student data sheets signed off on, so they'll know everyone in the building, not just the teacher you see every day, is concerned about how you score. We have our parent portal Atlas codes, those will be going out so that parents can be aware of what scores are looking like. If you don't know, that data is released immediately after interim, so we want to make sure that our parents have a way to track what students are doing and that all of our stakeholders are involved. So we're excited about it. We know that you all are excited about it, and again, I want to emphasize that it takes everyone. So we're reaching out to our local businesses and communities to support this effort. We want to incentivize our students when we see that growth. And we want to make sure they know that everyone is wrapping around the work that we plan to do. Thank you.
Thank you. For boarding flight PBHS Operation Rise. We checked our baggage, fueled up the purpose, and charted our course for success. Please keep your positive energy and teamwork secured as we reach new heights. It's time to take off and move this school from F to C and beyond together. We will. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Team Operation Move, Operation Rise. We'll go back to, oh, certainly, please. Yes, I'm sorry.
You said that you wanted to restructure the win time. What do the students currently do in win time, or what are you thinking about restructuring?
Yeah, so right now they're just based on grade level, so we have A lunch and B lunch. So our 10th and 11th graders are on one side, our are the strongest in the areas that they need to work on, so that we can help them to increase more.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
This question is directed to Dr. Laurent. Dr. Laurent, how confident are you that your teachers are buying into
We, during the faculty meeting, we did flip chart. We put just 50 on it. The buy-in was, you signed this, that you're committing to doing it. And everyone that was at the faculty meeting signed it. It's our social contract, our academic contract. And so when we start slipping, when I see teachers slipping, I'm gonna remind them that they signed that contract, that agreement to move forward. So what we find is that if you don't inspect what you expect, it won't happen. We're gonna be looking closely at what everybody's doing in the classrooms. Not only just to go in to do a walkthrough for EES purposes, but a walkthrough to see what's going on. We're gonna hold them accountable.
May I ask that? We also did a culture survey where our teachers took the survey, and the results showed that majority of them are ready for the work. They want to see change, they want to see a shift happen so that students can grow. They were able to leave comments as well under, anonymity, and they were largely positive, so.
Okay, my second question is this an admission that we have failed somewhere down the line?
No.
Since we coming up with a new?
No,
Okay,
no, let me tell you why.
okay.
We just hadn't done enough,
Oh, sure. Like,
right?
Yes, sir.
We were doing the work, but not enough. And so we had to refocus. I remember in program planning and evaluation class that I took, that as you travel on the journey, periodically you have to stop and assess where you are. Are you moving in the right direction in getting there? So if I'm driving from here to Memphis and 3 hours later I'm not in Memphis, I need to stop what I'm doing and look at my pathway. That's what we've done. We stopped to look at our pathway to make sure we're focused on where we need to go.
I commend you.
Yes, sir.
I have one question. Is there a student, parent, community component in this somewhere? Because I think, I see where you all have this plan, but I think there are another 16 hours in the day that something needs to happen where we pull them in to somewhere in that process.
The answer is yes. When we sat and we had our launch meeting, we had parents involved at the meeting. We also have a plan to get students involved and let them know they have to be responsible.
Yeah, so we looped in our PTO president, and she is right now forming a committee of parents that are gonna come to the table and sit down with us. That survey that I mentioned our staff took, our parents and stakeholders will also take that survey, and we're gonna use that data to bring them in the capacity that they would like to be involved.
My question is, how soon could we expect parents to know about what was presented tonight? I know you say you need the parents' support, everyone's support, but I, as a parent, am able to witness this up close by being up here. But for the other parents that's out there, how soon can we expect to see this for our children?
So the same day we had our initial move team meeting, the PTO president went live on our PTO Facebook page, and she put it out there so they were aware in that way. We're also gonna follow up with her. They did a small presentation at the PTO meeting. None of us were there, because we had other meetings, but they did make it available at the in-person meeting. It's online on our socials. We'll also be posting this information as we kind of brush it up and get our interim data in, because we wanna have a baseline before we start presenting information more publicly.
And we're gonna use district communications department to help us also get it across the district.
Thank you so much, team. Under human capital, I do want to share, because Mr. Luckett, one of the things that you'd asked me in the past was about our, I talked about our Capturing Kids' Hearts and that we're in year 2 of implementation. And how do we know it's gonna work, and how can we see evidence of it in place and different things like that? And so I'm excited to say that with Capturing Kids' Hearts, there are survey pieces to this. And so at the beginning of the year, they call it a Start Strong survey. And if you remember at the not the October, but the September board meeting, I just said that we were beginning that Start Strong survey. And at the time, we didn't have as many people respond. And so these are only supposed to be responses for those that have been through the Capturing Kids' Hearts training. And it's just the four questions that they were to do. And so in the Start Strong survey last school year, we had 34 people respond to the Start Strong survey last school year. This school year, we had 282 people respond to the Start Strong survey. So it was a different, we made more effort to push this out to make sure that people were answering questions about the 4 critical parts. And so if you remember, so the first question says that I as a staff member, I smile with a positive tone and I greet my students as they enter class each day. That was a very positive score. Our overall, 97% of our employees said that they do that often and always. The second question says, I start each class period or meeting by asking my students or staff to share good things or celebrations. This is part of our, this has become a norm that we share good things at every meeting, and that we engage students by sharing those good things. However, out of that, only 68% of our faculty said that they do that. So that's a push. That's something that we know we're going to focus on, is how are we doing in talking about good things and engaging students in good things. The third question was, my students or staff all have developed and posted a social contract. In fact, you heard Mr. Laurent talk about a social contract in a different aspect that he's using with his faculty as far as academics. But 90% of our classes in Pine Bluff School District, this is the district, 90% of our classes have a social contract. Where we, based on our evidence, where we're talking about, and when I meet with students, we're not referring back to the social contract as much as we should. So that's something, that's another thing that we're going to continue to focus on and talk about. And then the last one says that I ensure that my students or staff are launched at the end of a class period, at the end of a meeting. And that was another area where 75% said they almost always or often. So we know we could grow in that area as well. And so this data was really great for us to push back out our building principals. This is the district-wide data, but the building principals have their own data per campus, where they have taken this and shared this with their faculty and talked about how they're going to improve those things as well. So we're going to continue to push forward with our Capturing Kids' Hearts. What will be coming up, and you will see, and if Mr. Carlick wants to go back to the presentation, we'll pause right, hang on, we'll pause right here. Are there any questions about this survey itself right now, before I get out of here? Okay, so what will be coming, and this will involve everyone, we actually have what they call the mid-year survey, and the mid-year survey is a little bit more detailed. This survey just had these 4 questions, that's all people had to answer. But the mid-year survey, we're going to do a big survey push December 1st through December 12th. It's going to give us 2 weeks, and that's where we want 100% teachers to respond. We want 100% of our students to respond. It's a student survey, a teacher survey. It is a staff, I say teacher, a staff survey. It's a parent survey as well, and a community survey. So we'll be pushing that link out starting December 1, and we're really wanting everyone to respond to this so we can get more feedback on how we can continue to improve our culture at Pine Bluff School District. So that'll be coming out. So Mr. Carlick can switch that back to the presentation now. Thank you, Mr. Carlick. Under student supports, when we get there, I will share that board, we have 265 kindergartners in Pine Bluff School District right now. This is the largest kindergarten class we've had in years. We are having to open up a 13th kindergarten classroom. If you remember, we were expecting 10 kindergarten classrooms. We moved 2 teachers from another position in the district to open up the 12th classroom, and now we're going to have to hire a teacher for a 13th classroom because we don't have a teacher to move that's on site at this point because our classrooms are full at the elementary level. So this is really positive information in regard to enrollment. When we got our October 1 count, we actually are we are down 40 students based on the October 1 last year to this year. It's actually 44 is what that number was, which is a true positive because we've had a lot of fluctuation. So our seniors that graduated, we've brought more kindergartners. So we lost seniors, but we have more kindergartners than we did have seniors. The largest loss that we can track where we see our students are going are not really to other districts. They're going to virtual schools like Arkansas Connections and virtual charters. That's where we can track most of our students that have left. The ones that go to other districts, we're also getting in students from other districts as well, so it's kind of in the wash, that part. We are going to have a student celebration. Mr. Carlock is helping plan. We are going to recognize all of our students that have not had any office discipline referrals for the semester. We've received lists from our campuses, which is huge, because guess what? We have way more students of that than we do at the office. And so we're having to reschedule that date, or we've rescheduled the date because we have so many students that need to be recognized. We needed to pick a whole day so that we could do that for them. At each campus, there's over 100 kids per campus that are going to be recognized that have had no office discipline referrals. So we're excited. So that's going to be December 16th. So you'll have more details, and I'd love to invite you to come celebrate our students with us on that day, and I'll share that more information with you. Under stakeholder community engagement, on November the 6th, we had what we're calling a History Wall Committee for the Pine Bluff High School History Wall. It was made up of former graduates of Pine Bluff School District, community members that are here that know the history of Pine Bluff School District. We invited different people from the county that has like the history books of different things, and so it was a really great meeting where they all came together to talk about all the high schools that now make Pine Bluff High School. And that committee has been charged with creating the panels and the ideas that we place on the panels on the history wall at the new Pine Bluff High School. So they're working on that right now. We have Thanksgiving break, and I just thought it was for 1 week, which it is. However, I forgot the students and staff are actually out 7 days. So everyone, students and staff, they're not in school this Friday. They're out all next week for Thanksgiving, and then they're out the Monday coming back from Thanksgiving. So students will be back Tuesday. Mr. Carlock, if you don't mind just clicking on that link. As far as stakeholder and community engagement, if you remember at the report to public, we had our community schools present on what the community schools is, and we need, community schools has a needs assessment survey, so that QR code leads to a needs assessment survey. So those that are in the audience, if they want to look at that QR code and get that on their phone, it's also on our social media, and we can make sure that everyone has the link because we're trying to get more survey information. And board, I've sent that to you. I sent you the PowerPoint so you can look at it that way on your device later if you would like. Thank you, Mr. Carlock. Under district operations and fiscal governance, we have no board-to-board transfers to report this month. Again, like Dr. Rice said, I'll highlight it again that we had 3 board members receive pins for 25 or more board hours. The other 4 board members have already received their pins because they have that, because our board is an outstanding board with everyone having more than 25 hours in service, which is a really awesome thing, and I'm proud, and we should be proud of that. We do have to adopt a proposed budget and tax levy for the fiscal year 27-28. If you remember, we did this for fiscal year 26-27 in July because it has to be done for each election. And so since this year with the change in elections, there's election this November. So that first tax levy will be on the ballot with that for this November. Remember, Mr. Lockett's the one who votes that for the millage. Yep, there you go. Good job, Mr. Lockett. And then, but as you know, our annual school board election and the new elections from now on will be in March. And so we have to do that new proposed millage for that March, for the March election. So that is in your packet. That's one of the things we'll vote on tonight, is to adopt that proposed tax levy. And again, we have the school board election will be held March 3rd, 2026. And then under facilities transportation, we talked about the Pine Bluff High School construction update. On the action item on the agenda tonight, board, there's a football stadium upgrade action item. And I said we're opening that 13th classroom for kindergartners. And the kindergarten playground equipment that you've all voted on is beginning to be installed starting today. They were here today doing that. So lots to report, lots of great things. But that's my report unless you have any questions.
All right, thank you, Superintendent Barbary. Any questions, comments, concerns from board members before we move on to new business?
I have one question. So when a student transfers, whether it's senior, they graduate from somewhere else, do we still get to put that in our graduation rate or not?
No. Well, it depends, since that's a great question. So if they transfer on target, like if they have all the credits, that's a great question because we just talked about this in a meeting. So if they have all the credits to graduate and are in good standing and they transfer to another district, we do not get credit for them, the other district does. If they transfer to another district and they're not in good standing and we haven't done what we need, it does go against us as our school district. So we get knocked if it's bad, but don't get the credit if it's good. That's true.
Any other questions? All right, new business.
So under new business, you have 2 action items, but I do want to mention action item 1 is to move forward. Remember, board, you voted for us to begin the bid process and the drawings and all things for the football stadium upgrades. And tonight, Mr. Sean Carroll reported on the football stadium upgrades. You've, in your packet, received the cost of those upgrades. Dr. Colin, there are certain things in the cost of the upgrades that were bid out as the original project, and then there's some that are just estimates. They're not hard bids at this time. And so through those estimates, though, it's because they've been able to talk to companies and talk to different subgroups to be able to work on that. So what you have now in your packet is some line item numbers of what Mr. Carroll went over with you earlier.
All right, Dr. Coleman, do you want to make any more comments? Or?
No, I think it's all in here, so, did you all have any questions? Otherwise, I'm just gonna make a motion. Okay. All right, I make a motion to approve up to 3.6 million for the football stadium improvements.
Second. It's been moved and probably second. Ready for questions, comments, concerns? Any questions from board members? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye for me, all opposed say no. The ayes have it, thank you.
So the next item on the agenda, I do need to adjust the wording. It says approval of the proposed budget. It's actually, the motion is to adopt the proposed budget. And so this is just the one that will go in the paper for the March election. And so I need to, the agenda itself needs to say adopt, but there's the motion.
All right, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to adopt the attached proposed budget of expenditures for tax levy for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2027 to and including June 30th, 2028, and to approve the related sample ballot. Moving to private second, ready for question?
And know that there's no change to the millage that'll be on the ballot.
Any questions, comments, concerns from board members? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye for me, all opposed say no. The ayes have it. Thank you. All right, at this time, we are at the end of our meeting, and now we're going to go into a executive session to discuss personnel. Thank you all for attending at this time, coming out with us this evening. Let's take about a 5-minute break, board members, if you need to freshen up or get your dinner for this evening.
rate